What's going on, guys? Billy here, and today from CES I want to give you a quick hands-on look at the DJI Osmo Mobile 2 and give you some of my thoughts and my first impressions. So I guess the first thing I should go over is the price point. The Osmo Mobile 2 is priced at $129, whereas when the original Osmo Mobile came out, it was priced at $299. That is a pretty big difference. Now, with that being said, the Osmo Mobile 2 is definitely different from the first in a lot of different ways. While you may not be able to see that on the surface, as you take a closer look, you'll begin to realize all of the changes that were made. So for example, charging is now done through a micro USB port instead of this 3.5mm headphone jack. I'll be the first one to say it, I was very annoyed having to carry around an extra cable just to charge my Osmo Mobile, and while I would have definitely preferred USB Type-C, micro USB is definitely a step in the right direction. Now, along the lines of battery power, the battery inside of the Osmo Mobile 2 has been beefed up, but is no longer removable like we're used to with all of the other Osmo devices. I personally don't find this to be a problem, as DJI claims you can shoot for up to 15 hours on one single charge of the Osmo Mobile 2. This is definitely something I'm going to have to test out once I get my hands on one. Another thing that has been changed is the button scheme, which is now all readily available on the front of the device. These include the joystick to point the camera in different directions, a power/function button, which I'll be going over in just a second, and finally a capture button for taking pictures and videos. Now, for those of you wondering about the trigger on the back, it's been eliminated, but don't worry, all of those same functions can be accessed from that power and function button that I mentioned. A long press will turn the device on and off. A single press will lock the orientation of the Osmo Mobile, whichever direction that you point it. A double press will recenter the camera, and a triple press will switch you from the back camera to the front camera, and vice versa. Now that we've covered some of the changes between the first and second Osmo Mobile, let's go over some of the new things that this new device brings to the table. So first is the addition of a USB port in the back, which can be used to charge your phone or really any other device if you wanted to. Assuming you'll be live streaming or shooting a bunch of video throughout the day, your phone's battery will definitely deplete faster than usual. Spinning the device around to the side, we now have a dedicated zoom slider, which is great for achieving those cinematic zoom shots. Typically, this could be done by using a slider on the phone screen, but having a dedicated physical slider will now make your shots look a lot more smooth. Within the Osmo Mobile 2, some new software features were added, like motion lapse, which essentially uses active track to lock onto a subject. You can use this to make hyperlapses, which I originally would make by moving the joystick ever so slightly. Now, because the battery is built in and the battery door has been removed, a tripod mount has been added to the bottom instead of being along the side. This means that we won't need a special mount if we want to use a tripod. Now finally, probably one of the biggest changes to the Osmo Mobile 2, we have the ability to shoot vertically with our phone. We could still do this with the original Osmo Mobile, but by holding the handle sideways, which could get pretty tiring after a while. Now you can hold it normally and still shoot vertically if you wish. Locking your phone into the holder is a little bit different this time around, as you have to physically spread it apart with your hands, which feels a little bit cheaper to me, but the knob on the back has now been dedicated to swivel the entire mount. So overall, in my opinion, I think that the changes made to the Osmo Mobile series with the Osmo Mobile 2 are definitely for the better, especially that price tag. I feel like coming in at $129, it kind of moves this into the must-have phone accessory category, especially if you're someone who likes to shoot a lot of video and even take some pictures. DJI really took a lot of the problems that they had with the original Osmo Mobile and tweaked them to be better in the Osmo Mobile 2, which is really to be expected. The first iteration of any technology can always be massively improved upon, and one example I always give is the Apple Watch. So the Series 1 Apple Watch gets the job done, but Apple really missed the mark in certain areas. With the Series 2 Apple Watch, they greatly improved upon that. A lot of people really liked the Series 2 Apple Watch, and now, looking further in the future, the Series 3 Apple Watch does a great job at pretty much meeting people's expectations of what they want a smartwatch to do. Anyway, that wraps up this hands-on first impressions of the Osmo Mobile 2. I'll have to wait to give you guys my full verdict and I guess my full review of the product once I get it outside of DJI's booth at CES. Speaking of CES, it's a ton of fun. I'm sort of overwhelmed, but if you guys want to keep up with sort of my journey as I go through CES and some of the cool things that I see, be sure to follow me on Instagram. It's just @BillyKyle. I'll throw the link down in the description. But guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.